because negative emotion is our indication of when we're not letting ourselves be up to speed with who we really are, then sometimes it's difficult to interpret when you have a negative emotion, what am I really being told? I mean,
only one thing that matters.
Look for a thought that feels better.
The only thing that you're being told in the moment of negative emotion is whatever's active within you is not jiving with what's active on that same subject inside the vortex. When you feel negative emotion, what it literally means is your inner being is having a vibrational disagreement, wrong word, difference from you. In other words, if you are having a thought like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not getting it, you're going to feel discouragement because your inner being never feels that way about you. If you are thinking about someone else, you are a scoundrel and you have betrayed me and it is wrong what you have done, you feel that anger or disappointment within you, but what it means is your inner being is not thinking those thoughts about that person.
May I give you a brief example and see if the way I looked at it was helpful? I had a Christmas ornament that belonged to my mother. It was given to my mother when she was 3 years old. And it was one of those things that was very precious to me because my mother croaked many years ago. And I'd always treasured this. And a couple of years ago, as my husband was taking it off the tree, it fell and it broke and shattered into a million pieces. And at that moment, I felt this deep and profound negative emotion. Not at my husband, because he didn't mean to do that. It wasn't his fault. It was an accident. But it was really upsetting because, in a way, it was a gift she had given me.
Well, the reason it felt that way is because you were saying, my connection to my mother is now shattered. And your inner being is saying, that stupid ornament was never the connection to your mother.
Right.
And you were saying, now I don't have it. I've lost this symbol of the connection to my mother. And your inner being is saying, there is nothing like that is the reason for your connection to your mother. And you're saying, I feel bad about something that I can't piece back together. And your inner being is saying, there's no reason in the world for you to feel bad about this at all. In other words, it had almost nothing to do with the ornament and everything to do with a flawed premise that you were continuing to perpetuate. Mm-hmm. Because your connection to your mother isn't about things. She's gone. In other words, if that were true, you should have had her stuffed. Well, we wanted to get your attention. In other words, wouldn't that be the ultimate? No stupid little ornament. I have my mother. She looks better than ever.
My response to it was, after I got over the shock of it, was, wait a minute. I own things. Things don't own me. Although it was a treasured object, in the vast scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. But what you've just said now is a clearer indication of how to feel about it.
Well, but there's something even bigger and better about all of this, and that is that, you see, as we have these conversations with so many of you, often it feels to you, or at least your intent when you first start is, Abraham, I'm this physical person living this physical life, and there are things missing. I want my body to feel better. I want my body to look better. I want a different life experience than I have. In terms of manifestation, I want the manifestation of my life to shape up in an improved way. So I'm willing to listen to your processes in order to bring that about. We say right from the outset that if what you're reaching for is improved manifestations, then we're off on the wrong foot to begin with. Because what you're reaching for is alignment with who you really are. In other words, most people are looking for love in all the wrong places. So what that ornament breaking represents is a very vivid opportunity for you to realize that even as you went back after the fact and insist on continuing to call it a treasured object, we want to say we would like to put all things of a manifestational nature into a pile that we call not treasured. And we would like what's treasured to be the feeling place of the vortex. In other words, it's the battle that so many people have about haves and have-nots. It's the battle that people have about having money or not having money. So many people are sensing that they are putting emphasis in the wrong places on life. And what we want to bring to the conversation is that we want you to have all of that stuff, but we want you to find your vibrational vantage point first from which to understand it and enjoy it. It's not about manifestation or not. It's not about materialism or spiritualism. It's about connecting with the fullness that life has caused you to be and then addressing your material world from that vantage point. So when you are really in sync with the wholeness that is you, and you are feeling you're not needing the presence of your mother in your life experience right now, because that experience filled your vortex. The relationship that you had with your mother put things into your vortex that are now who you currently are. And it is so much more delicious and important and revealing to be a vibrational match to the being who she caused you to become than it is to retrace your steps about that becoming. You see what we're getting at? You can't separate who you are in your vortex from all of the relationships that have caused you to be it. And in trying to go back and explore those relationships, you distract yourself from the becoming that is so much more. Did you hear that? It's our way of saying that when you tune to the vortex, it'll be way more fun than getting a new car. But if you tune to the vortex and then you get a new car, how good is that? We want you to go to the vortex and then go to the vortex and then. We want your relationship with who you have become. We want to go back to your mother. You cannot separate who you have become as this culmination in your vortex. You can't separate yourself from the relationship that you had with your mother that caused all of that. And the relationship with your mother is less than that. So as you're feeling for complete alignment with who you are, it's more important than any individual relationship or conversation. In other words, this culmination of who you are is huge. It's like coming into alignment with what man calls God. It's coming into alignment with the fullness of who you are in such a complete way that the satisfaction in the moment gives you this real-time life experience. When you are tuned into the fullness of who you are, and your husband accidentally, so it seems, breaks an ornament, in your alignment with who you are, those shattered pieces just sparkle as the fairy dust of magnificent creation. And as the dust falls all around you, it's just memory of the delicious life experience that you are now living. And in the whole experience, there's only fun and appreciation of all of that. You see what we're getting at? From inside the vortex, you can see no wrong. From inside the vortex, there is only love. From inside the vortex, you are so full and so complete and so in alignment and so at one that then that being turning your attention to anything, oh, that's when you want to make love. Oh, that's when you want to find something good to eat. Oh, that's when you want to take a drive across the countryside. That's when you want to look up at the stars. That's when you want to feel the wind on your face. In other words, that's what you're reaching for, you see. And everything else is just contributing to the possibility of that moment. Oh, that's what we've really been wanting to say to you all day. Finally, we're there. Everything that you've been living and everything that you think is important, but all of it is important only because it is causing the culmination of that which is you, which you can rendezvous with right now, No exceptions. No reason not to. You're quiet, and we don't blame you, because we have really gone into some expanded understanding. So how do you translate all of this rambling that Abraham has been spewing at you all day here today? How do you translate that into a meaningful life experience? And in very simple terms, you translate it like this. I was born of source energy, and no matter how hard I try, I cannot separate myself from it. I am source energy, and I am good. I am source energy, and I am worthy. I am source energy, and I am deserving of a wonderful life. How soon I allow it for myself is optional. That's really what it all breaks down to. I can criticize someone, hold myself off from it. I can doubt someone, hold myself apart from it. I can love them and join the fullness of who I am now. I can nitpick and pinch myself off. I can step back and look with a broader view at what makes me feel good and line right up with it. I can appreciate and tune in. I can criticize and tune out. My choice, here and now, always, all day, every day. Be who I am or not. It's so interesting to visit with our physical friends who have been content to not be who they are, and then sort of want to defend to us why they have not been who they are. And so we figure that if we can just do a sales job of who you are, that from inside the vortex, we'll call you in. Because there's nothing bad about not being in. It just doesn't feel that good. There's no wrongdoing about not being in. It just doesn't feel that good. Nobody's mad at you for not coming in. It just doesn't feel that good. There's no rational justification for not being in. It's just habits of thought that keep you from being in. We just want to call your attention to the fact that there is a vortex and you can get in. And when you do, you'll like it. The appreciation that we feel for your willingness to mix it up out there in the confusing world, while without knowing it, you are contributing to this magnificent vortex of expansion. There are not words that accurately describe the appreciation we feel for the solutions that you have provided, even when you can't personally find them. It is thrilling to us to feel the vibrational movement that has taken place here. Not because manifestations are going to shower down around you, while they are, but because you're supposed to feel like you feel now, not like you felt before now. This is how you're supposed to feel. This is who you are. You're supposed to feel loved. You're supposed to feel honored. You're supposed to feel capable. You're supposed to feel sharp. You're supposed to feel witty and valuable and flexible and exhilarated. You're supposed to feel fun and full. You're supposed to feel knowledgeable. You're supposed to feel love. You're supposed to feel good about you and good about your world and good about the future and good about what's coming and good about what's here. You're supposed to feel good, you see. And it is exhilarating to us to find you feeling gooder than you felt. And know that it is because of the power of your desire and the little bit of allowing that we carved out here together today. We're all making way more of this than we need to. Life is not as hard as we make it out to be, but life in the vortex is easy, while life outside the vortex isn't. So we think we've done a really good job of selling you on the existence of the vortex, on the existence of your vibrational reality, on the existence of the larger part of you, and of the importance of beginning to address your world, your physical world, your day-to-day world in conversation and in exposure to life on a vibrational basis. We want you to be the emotionally guided beings that you are. It thrills us when you don't give a rip what others think. Because in releasing your attachment to their opinion, you will discover the fullness of the opinion of Source. And in the absence of resistance, as you worry about what others are thinking, you'll find the acceptance and the adoration and the fullness of Source and the opinion that Source holds for you.